Hey guys, it's Sarah. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be continuing my makeup collection series, and this time we're talking about blushes, bronzers, and contours, and highlighters. So this is all I have in that department. Let's go ahead and start with the blushes. So the first one is this Brooke Cosmetics blush in Sweet 16. This is a very under the radar brand. No one really talks about this brand, but I actually got this in a subscription box. The formula is a little dry, and I'm not sure if that's because I've had this for a long time or what that's about, but it blends into the cheeks just fine, and it's just a really pretty, like, classic pink color, so I really like that one, and it makes me want to try more products from this brand. I may do, like, a whole video once I, like, test out more of their products, just because I feel like this brand needs more attention. By the way, my really nice camera is currently not working. It's not taking video for some reason, which is like the only thing I use it for. So while we're getting that solved, I'm using an older like camcorder type of camera. I'm just borrowing it from my dad. So if you notice a difference in the quality, I apologize. Hopefully that will be resolved soon, but I just wanted to let you know. Anyway, this next blush is the Milani Powder Blush in Romantic Rose. This is probably my favorite blush of all time. It's just this really pretty, kind of dusty rose color. That one is not too different from the Brooke Cosmetics blush. This one is completely matte though, while the other one does have a little bit of shimmer. This one is totally matte, and it's a little bit more just like a muted pink, which I really like. It's just perfect for so many different occasions. If I only had one blush, or if I was only allowed to have one blush, I would probably just have this one because it's just perfect for everything. This next one is the Wet n Wild Fergie blush. Now this line has been discontinued, so you can't get your hands on this anymore, but it's the Wet n Wild Fergie Center Stage Collection blush in Brush with Destiny. And this one is super shimmery, actually. It's actually the most shimmery blush I own. It's a very peachy color with lots of like kind of rose gold flecks of shimmer in it, which if you don't like shimmer, obviously you wouldn't be a fan of this, but there's what that one looks like. Again, it's a lot peachier than those other two blushes that I just showed you. This isn't one that I would reach for every day because, like I said, it is pretty shimmery, and the shimmer does show on the cheeks, but I still really enjoy this one. This next blush is also from Wet n Wild. This one is not discontinued though. Oops. And it's in the shade Rosé Champagne. This is almost like a beige colored blush. And again, it does have some shimmer in it. The little particles of shimmer are really little, so it's kind of more like a glowy blush than anything. But this one is really pretty too. Again, kind of a beigey color, which is different from anything else that I have. And you can see it is a little bit glowy, but it's not like sparkly. I wouldn't say that it looks sparkly on the cheeks. Then the last blushes I have are in this palette from e.l.f. This is their Beautifully Bare Total Face palette, and this has more than just blush in it. It's got two blushes, both of those are matte. A matte kind of bronzer, and then a highlighter. So these two blushes, they're both kind of on the peachy side. This one is a little bit more of like a terracotta look to it, and this one is definitely just like a classic peachy pink. So let me swatch both of those. So there's the lighter peachy pink, the brighter one, and there's the more terracotta one that I was talking about. This palette I love because I have fair skin. I think that this is like the perfect palette for someone with fair skin because all of these products are very subtle. And so if you normally have to use like a really light hand with blush or bronzer, you're not going to have that problem with this palette. If you do have a deeper skin tone though, you might not like this as much, just because as you can see the swatches are pretty light. So now I will swatch the bronzer. This is a matte bronzer, like I said. It's kind of a lightish color, and it's a little bit on the warm side, so I don't know, it doesn't work super well for contouring, but it is a really nice bronzer shade. So that's what that looks like. Really pretty, really wearable, and I don't have to worry about getting too much on my brush. So that's what I like about that. And then this highlighter is kind of an interesting highlighter. It's a little bit on the pinky side. It almost pulls a little bit gray in the pan, but on the cheeks it just looks beautiful. It does have shimmer in it. This is the only product in this palette that does have shimmer. So there's a swatch of that. I don't know if you can see it super well because, like I said, it is very subtle. But that's kind of what I like about it. I kind of like a more subtle highlight. And so I do tend to reach for that a lot. So anyway, this is a really nice palette from e.l.f. And if you, like I said, if you have fair skin, this is one that I would definitely recommend. Okay, so now that we're done talking about blushes, I'm going to move on to some of the contouring type of products that I have. So this is another, this is a duo from Lolo. It's their Sculpt and Glow Contour Duo. This has contour and a highlight. So this actually came in a subscription box for me, but this typically retails for $26, so it's not a cheap product. I would definitely consider this brand to be a high-end brand. And I actually am not a huge fan of the contour. It's a nice cross between a warm and cool tone, so it's kind of just a neutral tone. I can use it for both contour and bronzer. It has a tiny bit of like a satin finish. There's no glitter in there. There's no detectable shimmer, but it's definitely more of a satin finish than a matte finish. The problem I have with this bronzer is that it does not blend very well, which is something that I kind of would appreciate in, well, any makeup product, but especially like a contour or bronzer. I want it to blend well, and I feel like with this being such an expensive product, the fact that it doesn't blend well kind of bothers me a little bit. So I do get use out of that, but it's not my favorite. It's not something I would recommend you spend your money on, and it's not something I would repurchase if I ran out. But anyway, that's that. And then I do really like the highlight. It's just a nice kind of pearlescent champagne highlight. That's what that looks like. I really like it. I feel like that would be a good highlight for just about any skin tone. So, love the highlight. Not a huge fan of the contour, but I do still enjoy and get use out of this little duo here. Another contour duo that I actually like better is the Wet n Wild contouring palette in the shade Dulce de Leche. Now this is entirely matte, so you're getting a matte cream colored highlight, which if you're my skin tone, it might not really work as a highlight on the cheekbones, and if you prefer a shimmery highlight, then that's not what you're getting. And then it also comes with this deep brown contour shade, which again, it's kind of a similar tone to that Lolo one I was just talking about. It's kind of in the middle between warm and cool, so it could work for bronzer and contour. But with this one, I do have to use a really light hand because it is pretty dark. And now that I'm looking at it, it looks like it has little tiny bits of like micro shimmer, but it definitely doesn't show up that way on the skin. So let me go ahead and swatch those. So again, very light colored powder. If you're into like a matte highlight and you have a deeper skin tone, that would probably work pretty well for you. I use that to like set my under eyes, and it works fine for that, but it's not like a must-have product for me. And then the contour I do really like. Again, super dark, so I have to use a light hand. That's what that looks like. This little duo is only like $4 or $5, so definitely less expensive than the other one I was just talking about. And if you haven't tried this, I would definitely suggest checking it out because, I mean, for the price, it's a really good product, and both of these blend really nicely, so that I do appreciate about that one. Okay, now we're on to just the last two products, which are both highlighters. This is one that I've talked about a lot. It's the Wet n Wild Reserve Your Cabana highlight. I'm not a huge fan of this. I think that if you have a deeper skin tone and you're into a really subtle highlight, you might like this. It just doesn't, I feel like it just doesn't show up on my skin. I mean, when I swatch it like that, you can definitely see it, but there's what that looks like. I mean, I guess you can kind of see it in a swatch, but when I blend it like onto my cheekbones or something like that, I just don't feel like it shows up, so I'm not a huge fan of that. I tend to just use it kind of like as an all-over face powder. it doesn't have like huge pieces of shimmer in it, so it kind of just looks glowy. It doesn't look super shiny on my skin, but I don't like to use it just as a highlight because it doesn't, like I said, I feel like it doesn't do anything. So that's that. And then this last highlighter I actually do really like. This also came in a subscription box, and it's the only cream product that you'll see in this collection, but it's the FiOR Minerals Ignite Illuminator in Sweets. This is a sample size, so if you were to buy the full size of this, it would be bigger, but the sample size has lasted me quite a while. It's kind of a pinky tone highlight. What I usually do is I just apply it to my cheekbones using my finger, which is nice. It's a really easy way to apply it. Let me swatch it here. So this doesn't have like glitter in it either, which is nice. That's a really heavy swatch, but you can kind of see it just gives a nice like dewy look, which I really like. And this is definitely not a product that I would have tried had I not received it in a subscription box. So I'm kind of glad I got to try it, and it makes me wonder if I would enjoy other cream products. So it's kind of opened up the doors for me a little bit, and I really enjoy that. I do need to use this up soon because I've had it for a long time, and it's a cream product, so I'm worried it's gonna like dry out pretty soon. But anyway, that's one of my favorite highlights. So those are all of my blushes, bronzers, contour type products, and highlighters. It's kind of a mouthful, but I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you missed the previous part of this series where I talked about like foundation and concealer and powder, I will link that video below, and definitely stay tuned because I'll be posting the rest of this series in the coming weeks. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.